Hi guys, and welcome to Movies in Lockdown. Today we'll be discussing WandaVision Episode 3, so stay tuned and enjoy the show. Before we begin, this is going to be a spoilers discussion, so spoilers, and more spoilers. You've been warned. Unlike the previous two episodes, which were primarily in black and white to fit with the 1950s and 1960s era of sitcoms that they were based on, this changes things completely, embracing the rich, vibrant colors and fashion of the 1970s. This time around, the show borrows inspiration from probably one of the most iconic sitcoms at the time, The Brady Bunch. Seriously, kudos to the production designer. The set design as well as the costumes continue to be spot-on representations of the time period, but also a faithful recreation of various elements from the Brady Bunch set. Wanda and her Vision are coming to terms that they're expecting a baby, so they have a doctor over just to make sure everything will be okay. Considering how fast this baby bump appeared, it's not strange to want reassurance from a professional. The brief interaction with the doctor is funny. His comparison of different fruits to different stages in a baby's development growth is an interesting way to look at the whole process. Vision again here seems more human, with him questioning the whole pregnancy. You can tell of the two he's the most concerned with his pressing questions regarding the pregnancy. As concerned as he is, Vision is on board with being a father and does whatever he can to prepare himself for the imminent birth of his son or daughter. As Vision sees the doctor off, he notices his next door neighbor Herb. Herb is acting odd, literally cutting through the wall separating their two houses. Vision finds this weird, but as he is about to mention it to Wanda, he's distracted by Wanda, who seemingly jumped ahead months into her pregnancy, her baby bump growing even bigger in a matter of seconds. They both get to work, preparing a room for the baby. Wanda takes care of decorating the room while Vision reads a pregnancy book. I guess as brilliant as Vision is, he still needs to clue himself up on some things. In this case, probably one of the most important human experiences a person can have, which is bringing life into the world. Now Wanda is using her magic to set up the nursery, which is definitely the most effective way to get things done. Something like a crib or painting the bedroom walls that should take hours to complete, she's able to do it easily in a few seconds. She's doing this, and while placing a mobile over the crib, her magic starts to flare up. This seems to be a result of the pregnancy. In an instant, without much effort, she's able to bring the crib mobile of butterflies to life. While some may not think much of this, it implies she has the ability to bring inanimate objects to life. This shows her powers, from what we know of it, is evolving, shifting to more magical-based abilities. That's not all. It seems that the pregnancy is further progressing, even quicker, as she feels her first kick from the baby. Vision notes that the pregnancy is further along than before, jumping from 4 months to 6 months. This raises a lot of questions, especially how soon Wanda is due. Vision makes a mental calculation and manages to deduce it will be in about 3 days' time. Oh boy, is he far off on that one? Something to note, Wanda and Vision are debating about what to call their baby, with both choosing boys' names. Vision is settled on Billy, while Wanda prefers Tommy. Both these names are going to come into play later, but let's not jump ahead too soon. Now the next scene that follows has to be one of the most hilarious scenes on the shows thus far. Vision timing himself and seeing how fast he can put a diaper on using a doll. Honestly speaking, I think Vision has fatherhood in the bag. That baby is getting one hell of a father. I really love Elizabeth Olsen's face acting this episode. Her facial expressions are priceless. There's so many expressions that it's hard to pick which is the best. A strong contender though is her breathing face when she experiences her first contraction. She makes it such a laughable moment, which is only enhanced by Vision joining in, helping her to breathe as well. This show really lets its two leads have so much fun with the material. The contractions keep on coming, and the more they come, the more Wanda's magic gets out of control. Her magic manages to cause a power outage that affects the whole town. It's after this that Wanda remarks, what can her powers cause once she starts experiencing real contractions? She ponders if the neighbors suspect that she's the cause of the weird happenings given all of the close calls they've had up until now. These comments are delivered casually and are meant to be played off for laughs. because of both Alston's delivery and the laugh track. You can see Vision take a pause, and he starts to seriously consider her comments. Thinking deeply of the moment something unusual or unnatural has happened, it raises the question that something really isn't right. Again, Alston's face acting says it all. She's filled with concern and emotion in a fleeting moment. It seems like something is about to be revealed, come to light. But, nope, the whole moment is abruptly cut. We jump straight back to a few seconds, and instead of Vision making any remarks about the strange happenings, we get a tender moment between the two. Vision is reassuring Wanda that everything will be fine. Again, it's interesting how quickly we jump between these moments and how they work. Anyways, there's barely time for the two to sit around because, you've guessed it, the baby's coming. This is represented on screen by water flooding their home by literally raining down on them. Just as Wanda comments her waters broke, her powers have caused the pipes in their home to burst. Has this affected just their home or the entire neighborhood? We don't know just yet. This really has to be one of the fastest pregnancies ever. While Vision rushes off to get the doctor to deliver the baby, Wanda is left on her own. She's about to investigate a strange noise in the nursery when the doorbell rings. It's Geraldine, aka Monica, who wants to borrow a bucket because the pipes in her house burst. So the magic did affect the neighbors. Because Wanda and Vision agreed not to let anyone else know about her pregnancy, she tries her best to cover up her baby bump, all the while having to deal with contractions. We get a nice visual gag where Wanda magically goes through a number of random coats before deciding to ditch the coat and use a large fruit bowl to cover her pregnancy. Somehow Geraldine is none the wiser. Remember that noise from earlier? Well, guess what? It returns. The noise Wanda briefly heard from the nursery was from one of the wall paintings, specifically a painting of a stork. Just like the butterflies, the stork has come to life. Rather than explain a stork in her house, Wanda tries to magic it away, all the while Geraldine is distracted, recounting a story about her boss. I love this whole scene. It's absolutely cheesy in the best way possible. First there's Geraldine, who has a fish pattern on her pants, just casually sitting down, not aware of what's going on, because Wanda pulls her attention every time she's close to discovering the stork. The stork is clearly a puppet, and it has eyes set on those stylish fish-printed pants. After one last close call, the stork finally decides to go back to the nursery and stay out of trouble. Storks have often been represented throughout film, television, and even historically throughout different real-world cultures as creatures who would deliver newborn babies to new parents. This falls in line with Wanda and Vision about to expect their first baby, becoming parents for the first time. It doesn't take long after that for Wanda to drop the whole ruse. The pain is too much to bear, and she has no choice but to come out and reveal to Geraldine that she's expecting, right now. Geraldine is notably quick to act, not letting the strangeness of the house reacting to the pregnancy affect her from helping Wanda deliver her baby. Wanda delivers a healthy baby boy, just as Vision, who's piggybacking the doctor, finally returns home to a new member of their family. While Geraldine ushers the doctor away to give them both some privacy with their baby, we get another lovely moment. Wanda tells Vision to drop his human disguise to show his real form to their newborn son. Vision names their son Tommy, there and then, going with the name his wife had settled on earlier when they were deciding names for their child. Unknowingly, and very much a surprise to them both, they end up having a second baby, making them twins and both boys. So Wanda and Vision can each have a son with their chosen names. The first child is Tommy, whilst his brother is called Billy. Now both Billy and Tommy are significant characters in the comics, who go on to become part of the Young Avengers. As part of the Young Avengers, they go by their superhero names, Wiccan and Speed. Billy takes after his mother, possessing magical abilities, whilst his brother has abilities that are similar to his uncle, Quicksilver. While Wanda and Geraldine look after the babies, Vision sees the doctor off. Now the doctor makes an interesting comment. Small towns, so hard to escape. This really speaks to what's happening here. Subconsciously, the doctor is trying to escape the town but can't because of whatever entity has taken over the town since Wanda and Vision's arrival. As the doctor takes off, Vision is caught in a conversation between Agnes and Herb, the former who inquires about Geraldine, raising Vision's curiosity even more. We go back inside and Wanda is reminiscing. She tells Geraldine she's a twin and then starts singing a Sokovian lullaby. While she sings to the children, there's almost a sadness in the way she delivers the song. You can see that she's thinking back, remembering her late brother. It's then Geraldine asks her, "He was killed by Ultron, wasn't he?" Wanda sheds a tear as you see her emotions bubbling up briefly. She then goes from being sad to angry at the mention of the cause of her brother's death. Pietro dying is something that still affects her even after all these years. Wanda's whole attitude towards Geraldine changes as she questions her and everything about her. Geraldine tries to defend herself and is seemingly stumped. We go back and forth between Vision and the neighbors and Wanda with Geraldine. Both scenes raises questions about Geraldine and her purpose in this community. She is definitely not a local, and both Agnes and Herb seem to know more than they are willing to share with Vision. Before Vision can really get a definitive answer, Agnes is able to stop Herb from revealing more, shutting down the whole conversation just as fast as it started. They clearly know something and are aware of what's happening within Westview to a degree. Despite her limited screen time this episode, Agnes manages to make an impression that really makes the audience question who she is even more. She is definitely a bigger player in all of this, and it's only a matter of time before we get to know what she knows regarding everything that's happening in Westview. Wanda notices is the necklace that Geraldine is wearing. It has the sword symbol that she has come across on 2 other occasions in the past. This scene is just intense, not only because of the confrontation, but the ominous music and the babies crying in the background. At the same time, everything works in making these scenes into something that's foreboding, especially as Wanda approaches her with a serious look on her face. Whatever happens, we don't see, as Vision makes his way inside and asks Wanda about Geraldine. She's nowhere to be seen. While her back is turned, you catch a brief glimpse of Wanda staring directly at the screen/audience before looking down at her babies in front of her. It is as if, for a second, she is acknowledging or almost aware that someone is watching her. We see the screen shifting, the black bars moving from the left and right hand side of the screen, changing to a widescreen format. It's like seeing a TV view change to a more cinematic viewpoint. It's nighttime, and just outside of the Westview town sign, there's a distortion. There's a noise, and Monica flies out of the distortion and onto the ground. Monica is engulfed by a spotlight, which, as soon as the camera pans out, you can see that there's a lot more happening on the scene. There's a base of sorts with plenty of people, both on foot and in vehicles, rushing to the spot where a stunned Monica has landed. I guess Wanda didn't go all out, despite blasting Monica straight out of her house and outside the barrier around the town. If she did, she would be in a much worse shape than she appears to be. Clearly from the brief shot, the people on scene converging towards Monica has to have some ties to Sword, who are somehow involved with, observing or investigating what is happening in Westview. Now, as with the previous 2 episodes, we continue the trend of having a commercial break in the middle of the show. This time around, the commercial break is more humorous and almost chaotic. We see a mother who can't seem to catch a break. Everything around the house involving both her and her kids seem to end badly despite her efforts. A narrator intervenes, asking her if she needs a break, and she responds to him, agreeing that she definitely does. We are then transported to an almost dreamlike fantasy where she's enjoying some quality time in a bathtub, having a relaxing bath. It's like she's been whisked away from her problems and given a sanctuary where she can unwind. The soap she's using is named Hydra Soak, another reference to the organization within the MCU that had taken over S.H.I.E.L.D. and which has run last by Strucker, who was the last known head of the villainous front. This is again another reference to something relating to Wanda and her past. Now, for those of you who aren't aware, episode MVP is basically the segment where I like to highlight a character in the episode who ended up stealing the show or had a standout moment. While Geraldine was also front and center this episode, it really is no competition who stole the show. It is without a doubt our leading lady, Wanda Maximoff. Wanda has mostly been calm, taking on the role of the stereotypical housewife you'd see in these old school sitcoms. While there has been instances where she would drop the act when something goes wrong, she is mostly in character, except for the final minutes of this episode where we finally get to see a rage-filled Wanda. Elizabeth Olsen is really getting to showcase her acting chops in spades. It should come as no surprise to the amount of talent that Olsen has. If you need any more convincing, just look at her role in Wind River. In Wind River, she plays an FBI agent who is investigating a possible homicide. Here she stars alongside her fellow Avenger, Jeremy Renner, in perhaps one of the most unsettling yet engrossing films I've ever seen. Definitely give it a watch if you haven't seen it. I know some people aren't too keen on the ongoing sitcom angle, but personally I'm loving it, and I can't wait to see what other sitcoms they play around with. Still, I really want to know what's happening outside, so hopefully we get there soon. Anyways, that's all I have to say for now about WandaVision. The next entry in this series is going to be up real soon, so look out for that. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the show. Please feel free to subscribe, like, and comment below. And hey, maybe this wasn't your cup of tea, and that's okay. Just remember to take care and stay safe.